Hey everybody, this is Harold George. I'm the Extension Services Manager of the St. Johns County Public Library System. I hope everybody can see and hear me okay. I'm outside today. Normally I'm stationed at my home studio, and so this is a little bit different because we got something a little bit different for you today. So I'm going to keep walking, but today we're going to take a brief tour and show you a little bit of our bookmobiles. Whoops. So those of you who do not know about our bookmobiles, we have bookmobiles and they're stationed at the headquarters of the Southeast Branch Library and Administrative Headquarters. So way down by DuPont Center, about 10 miles south of St. Augustine. We have tech services, we have extension services, we have library administration, and we have the beautiful Southeast Branch Library. And that's also where we station and operate extension services bookmobiles. So I'm at that location now. We're going to start our program at 3 o'clock. I'm using my phone. I might need a little help knowing when it's time to start, and I know there's somebody out there that can help me out. So I'm going to see if I can turn this camera around so you can see where I am. So let's see here. Yep, that worked. So I'm at the gallery outside the Southeast Branch Library. We are closed, but that doesn't mean it's not a gorgeous place, a gorgeous, beautiful weather day. So I'm just going to keep walking out to the bookmobiles and waiting for that queue to get things started. And I might really depend upon somebody to tell me when it's 3 o'clock because I can't see it on my telephone. Do we call cell phones telephones these days? It's just like photographs. When's the last time something is truly a photograph? Sorry for the bumpy walk. I see that my niece, Ashley, is paying attention all the way from San Diego. And you folks, I have to say I'm going to give out a shout out to Ashley. She's an emergency room nurse. She's doing great things, and she is truly the star of the George family. So thanks for tuning in, Ashley. Anybody tell me what time it is? Okay, you know what? While we're waiting, I'm going to go adjust something on one of the bookmobiles, and then we'll get started. Thank you. So, let's see here. Yeah, you got to stare at me for a second, so I don't want to give away anything on the tour, but I know that it's noisy in here, so I'm going to take care of something. That way we'll be able to hear. There we go. Thanks, Leslie. We have so many cool people helping us out through this experience, and we really appreciate it. Sorry about these dark glasses. Those are those transition lenses that seem like a really good idea, except when you don't want to wear sunglasses. But it's so pretty out here today. Every library has its own personality. Everybody loves their particular branch for many, many reasons. One of my favorite things about the Southeast Branch Library is that we're out here in the woods, or so it seems. We're really not that far out. But we have our pond, we have our ducks, we have those cypress trees that were planted something like 17 years ago today that have just come into full bloom because it is springtime. And it's a great place to be. So when things open back up again, you've got to come out and see us because you'll really appreciate this spot just for the peaceful moment and just the beauty that you have. So, boy, I thought this would be a steady little wand I have created here, but that camera is a-shaking. So, in case you're wondering what this is my mask. I got a few of those. It's really good for us to wear a mask, follow those guidelines, keep our social distance. It's really not as hard as it may seem, and it'll keep us all well. And the library is happy to support that, and we'll be making sure that everything we do once we get started again is in the interest of safety and serving our patrons, because we miss you and love to see you. Hey, Alex. All right, Leslie is keeping time for me. It's got to be 3 o'clock by now. Yes? No? This is not even going to last probably more than 5 or 10 minutes, but we advertised for 3, so we have to start on time. Does anybody remember in St. Augustine the movie theater called Potbellies? you would show up for a movie that started at 7, and sometimes Mr. Potbelly had decided he was going to start the movie at 6:45. I guess that's the luxury of owning your own movie theater. This is... all right. I think we're about ready to get started. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can have a look. So I'm going to walk over here so I can get a big wide angle, and then we'll get things off to a start. All right, so what you're about to see is a scan. This is the north side parking lot of the Southeast Branch Library and Administrative Headquarters, and you see 3 bookmobiles. Now, we generally only operate 2 bookmobiles at a time. So I'm just going to walk around to each one, give you a little bit of information about them, and tell you what we especially like about each one. Okay, so some background information. Library Elderly Outreach. That was the original service. It started in the year 2001, and through a state grant and a lot of hard work, our library system started funding and providing service through a bookmobile that went solely to nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and senior sitters. And that bookmobile lasted about 15 years. I was really impressed by how much that particular bookmobile lasted. And it was the sole bookmobile until the year 2007. And the thing that we're facing right now, this bookmobile was donated to us, it was gifted to us from a county in South Florida that had decided no longer to operate bookmobile services. Because they had purchased that particular bookmobile with a grant, they weren't allowed to simply surplus it. They had to offer it to another county, and we definitely took advantage of that. It's a size of a school bus, and in fact, we have a nickname for it because it was built by the same company that builds your school bus, the Bluebird Company. So this particular bookmobile we call Bluebird. It has well over 227,000 miles on it. It's about 23 years old. It's a pretty tough, it's what we call the war horse. In a lot of ways, it's probably our favorite just because we've had it for so long. It's also the largest, it's the roomiest. That air conditioner inside works really well, which is especially important in the summer times. But what's really kind of surprising, especially for me when I first came aboard, as big as this bookmobile can be, it's really super easy to maneuver. May have something to do with the fact that the wheels and the engine are way up front. And even though it is much larger than the others, it can turn on a dime, so to speak, compared to the other 2. So this is what it looks like. We've got somebody passing by, so I'm going to get out of their way. I'm going to wave. Let's see. Yep, they wave back. Everybody's pretty darn friendly these days. So that is the bookmobile we call Bluebird. I'm going to say our favorite things about it probably is the size. It's very roomy. It's actually pretty easy to drive. It has seats inside that raise and lower by hydraulics, and they bounce around so that the impact of driving is a lot easier on your body than it might be. So that bookmobile we've had since 2007. We don't use it as much as the others. It's sort of our bookmobile on standby. And it's great for if you've had anybody that, any family members that went to the Junior Service League's event, Feel the Wheels. It's always been a popular vehicle in Feel the Wheels. And we like to use it for special events. Every now and then we take it to some kids programs. But we give her a lot of time off because we want her to last and we want to be nice. So that's Bluebird. So this next vehicle came to us in 2015. And I have to say, I really like those graphics. At the top of there, you see the library's mission statement, connect, learn, and enjoy at your library. Because that's what we're all about, is making those connections, making sure that knowledge, information is a true pleasure, and we'll do what we can to make sure it works for you. Now, this vehicle came to us in another roundabout way. This vehicle came from Los Angeles. And this used to be a shuttle bus at the LAX airport. And so this vehicle probably has about 40 some odd thousand miles on it. I have to admit, I haven't checked the odometer lately. It was converted. We took most of the seats out of it. We took it to a local vendor that took the old shelves off of the Bookmobile that retired in 2015, repurposed them and hung them in a different angle. We actually have some wooden shelves and storage containers that were put inside. This vehicle is the vehicle we take primarily to the senior centers, assisted living facilities, and the over 55 communities. One of the things we like about it is when you open these doors, there's a ramp that comes out, so it's a lot easier to access if you have trouble climbing stairs or if wheels are part of your mobility. This vehicle has hydraulic brakes. It has a hydraulic system, so when you put it in park, it lowers closer to the ground. It has, like I said, a door that opens by a touch of a button and a ramp that comes out. But one of the things that's really interesting about it is all those things have to be put in place in just the right way, or you won't be able to drive. And because this particular vehicle seems to have so many fail-safes, and there's so many little things that we must do just right to get her on the road, we nicknamed this one HAL, after the computer in 2001 Space Odyssey. So if you hear somebody talking about Bluebird or HAL at the library, it's one of these bookmobiles. This is the one that we usually put in the Christmas parade. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we really like the graphics. We really like these graphics. And also we can keep the door open so it's easy for people to come and go on the bookmobile during the Christmas parade, which has served us well. So this one is HAL, coming to us from Los Angeles, definitely the middle child. So would this be the Generation X bookmobile compared to the Boomer back there? Good question. So finally over here we have our third bookmobile. What's especially cool about this one, this is the first bookmobile since the beginning that we bought ourselves. This bookmobile was ours from the very beginning. Not secondhand, not donated, not converted, but it's ours. And this one came to us from a company in North Carolina called Turtletop. Turtletop is a company that builds these amazing structures. It has this super duper strong steel cage that wraps around the entire vehicle. And so because of that name, this one we nicknamed Turtletop. So you can tell we have a bit of a system there. It's not too difficult, but we definitely like the nicknames. You may have noticed that in the library world, we like our acronyms and nicknames, and it serves us well because it makes it easier to identify what the heck we're driving. These graphics we're a big fan of as well. And this is the one bookmobile we're going to go ahead and go inside so you can have a look at it. It is the smallest of the three bookmobiles, but it is the one that we really got a hand in designing. So we're really hoping that we have it for a long time. Of the three bookmobiles, this is the only one that actually runs in gasoline. The other two run on diesel. And this one is a lot easier and a lot cleaner to operate. It's a lot easier to wash and keep clean as well. So let's go ahead and go inside. That hum you might hear is the generator. And so here we go. We have two desks. This is the first service desk. Most days of the week we may have only just one person working this bookmobile, but some of our busier stops we might have two people. And so you have this desk here, and you have a desk in the back. And then of course down here we have the cab. This is just like driving a large car. It's much more I think ergonomic than the other three, so we all appreciate that because at the end of a long day we feel a little less beat up when we've been driving a lot of miles. We have some storage containers. Let's see if there's anything in here. Let's not look in that one. It's a little messy. This one is kind of cool though, because there is something in this cabinet that I want to share with you. Something that we have aboard all three of our vehicles. And you may not recognize it, but it's an AED. This is a little electric computerized thing that helps in case somebody is having some sort of a medical event and they need need reviving. And the best part about this is this machine will not work if the person does not actually need its help. So we have one of these things at every one of our branch libraries. We also have them on each one of our bookmobiles because we want to be there when someone needs us to help them out. So let's put that back in the cabinet. Not much more on the tour. As you might expect, a bookmobile is full of books. If you'll notice, we have the shelves at an angle. and they're kind of deep. This one's great because I remember the first time I drove the super large Bluebird bookmobile to a school event. I took a curve a little too tight and went over a curb. Don't tell anybody. And so I went over the curb at an angle, and about 2/3 of the books went flying off the shelf. Let's just say that was not a fun experience. This one's a lot easier to manage. And of course, if you drive a little more carefully, these things won't be a problem. So this bookmobile goes to schools, goes to Publix, goes to a lot of different places. So our collection includes lots of YA books. Down at the bottom, we have lots of easy readers and storybooks. We have DVDs for kids. We also have books for adults, fiction, nonfiction, lots of movies, because that's what people want. We also have audio books. And we try to keep this collection moving about all the time. People help us refresh it by checking out and returning. Something that's kind of cool down here, I'm going to let you get a quicker view. See that sticker for the St. Augustine Farmers Market? Whoops. Okay. My phone said I had to rotate, so I'm just going to pull it out. What you have here now is a collection of books that have been donated by the St. Augustine Farmers Market. Because this bookmobile goes every other Saturday, or actually it's probably more like the second and fourth Saturday of the month, to the St. Augustine Farmers Market at the amphitheater. Of course, right now we're on a break, as is most everybody else. But what's really cool is that we have books in this special collection that are suited to the interests of people who visit the farmers market. Lots of things about cooking, lots of things about farming, healthy books, all sort of, vegetarian books. We have a lot of traditional cooking books. We have some Foxfire books. And these are always aboard this particular bookmobile. Now, of course, if you want one of these items, put it on hold and we'll send it your way. So let's just take a quick look back. We see the big picture window. If you'll remember, that was covered in graphics. But of course, you can see out the window. Well, and Alex, that collection's available to anybody in the library system. So definitely, anything the farmer's market donates to us, we try to keep on this vehicle so people coming to the farmer's market see it. But everything in our collection, everything in the entire library system collection, is available to everybody countywide. We have a little bulletin board we put up here because we're always trying to keep people informed. And what I like right there, if you're wondering what that is, can you see the number? That's telling people about the Enchroma glasses, because the Enchroma glasses are this really cool thing that we do keep at the library. I think actually we took them off the vehicle for the time. But if you have issues with color blindness, we have these great glasses you can check out and try, and we do keep some aboard the bookmobile as well. So folks, I think that about wraps it up. In a little bit on our website, or on our Facebook page, I should say, there will be the video greeting from those of us in Extension Services. Some of those familiar faces that all of you know from your visits to the bookmobile. We miss you. We look forward to seeing you again. And hey, wait a minute, what is this? Look at that. If your kids are interested in a little craft, we do have this easy to fold and make mini bookmobile. I say it's easy because I myself did it this morning. And if I can do it, then you and your kids can certainly do it as well. So thanks for joining us. This is definitely available by looking in the comments. You'll see the craft. If for some reason you can't download it, shoot us a message at Ask a Librarian or an email through the emails on our website. Every one of us, every location, every department has a specific email address. Or just make a comment here and let us know what we can do to help make your library experience the best it can be. We love National Library Week because it's all about you folks. We may work at the library, but you truly are what makes the library special, because the library is, in fact, your place. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for putting up with this shaky hand of mine. And we look forward to seeing you sooner than we realize. All right, everybody, take care.